Have you ever had that feeling? Like you're living in a world that's kinda lost its color? Where the seasons just blur into one another and your memories feel like old faded photographs. It's this quiet, slow forgetting of how vibrant everything used to feel. So, what if a language wasn't just about words, but was actually a map? A map that could lead you back to everything you thought was gone for good. Before we begin, if you enjoy stories like this, please follow the channel and share this. It genuinely helps me create more stories for you. Now, this is the story of how I found that map and how its forgotten words led me back to myself. For a long time, I really thought that Gray World was permanent. But then I stumbled upon the first coordinates on this strange new map. And it didn't start with a place. It started with time itself. The seasons. I mean, for the longest time, they were just background noise. Names on a calendar that just cycled over and over. But this map, it promised something different. It gave them new names, names that felt like old, dusty keys. The first word was El Verano, and as I said it out loud, something flickered. It wasn't just summer. It was the memory of heat on my skin, those long, lazy afternoons from when I was a kid. It was a feeling, not just a word. Then came El Otoño. And with it came this echo of crunching leaves, the smell of that crisp air. I realized these weren't just definitions in a book. They were echoes of feelings I had completely forgotten I'd ever had. The world was still gray, sure, but I could feel a little bit of warmth coming back. Okay, so the map then led me to the next set of coordinates. If the seasons were about feeling things again, this next part, this was about seeing them. It was time to find the colors. Los colores. It felt like the map was starting to fill in the details of a world I'd just stopped paying attention to. Almost like I was being handed a paintbrush, one color at a time. Rojo. And just like that, red wasn't just red anymore. It was that specific deep glow of embers in a fireplace on a really cold night. A specific warmth, a specific memory, pulled right out of that gray haze. And then, azul. And I don't just mean blue. I mean that impossible deep blue of the sky right before it gets dark. The kind you'd stare at as a kid and just feel incredibly small and somehow completely safe. My whole perception was shifting. I was starting to see the details again. So the map had started to repaint my world with feelings and colors. But next, it began to populate it with life. It reintroduced me to these companions that had been there all along, but I'd forgotten how to really see them. Las mascotas. The map pointed to the creatures that live right alongside us. And as soon as I learned their new names, the feelings they represented just came rushing back. And perro. The word didn't just mean a dog. No, it unlocked the feeling of pure, unwavering loyalty. That memory of a happy greeting at the door, that silent promise that you were never really alone. Un gato. And with this word came the memory of quiet comfort. The gentle weight of a sleeping cat, its soft purr like a tiny engine of peace in a quiet house. It hit me then. They weren't just animals. They were anchors, holding me to the world. And this is where it all started to come together. The warmth of verano, the colors rojo and azul, that feeling of companionship. All these separate little coordinates on the map were leading to one single powerful place. A memory buried so deep, I didn't even know it was still there. It started with La Playa, the beach. The destination was finally coming into focus, the last point on the map.
Then, El Océano, that vast, deep blue expanse, and its rhythmic roar, a sound I hadn't even realized I'd missed so much.
La Arena. And just like that, I could feel it, the warmth of the sand under my feet, connecting me to the earth. And finally, Il Sol, the sun. And suddenly, all the pieces just clicked. The brilliant red-gold sun setting over that deep blue ocean, casting long shadows on the warm sand, a faithful dog running by the shore. The entire memory, pieced together word by word, was suddenly right there, in full, brilliant color. I stood there, in my mind, on that shore of everything, and I finally understood. I finally got what this map, this language, had been trying to show me all along. Here's the thing. The world was never black and white. The colors were always there. The seasons were always changing. The warmth was always present. This language, it wasn't a map to some lost world out there, it was a lens, a new way of seeing the world that was right in front of me the whole time, letting me feel it with the richness it always had. It really makes you wonder, doesn't it? What forgotten feelings, what lost colors are just waiting for you inside a language you haven't learned yet? What world is waiting for you to unlock? If this story moved you or made you think differently, share it with someone who needs to hear it. And follow the channel for more stories just like this.